OPS. Welcome to another edition of MyEd Help Tutorials on this lovely program known as MyEDBC. This session is going to be on actually doing standard-based assessment using MyEd, and I'll even try, hopefully if I've got time, to throw in how to do a progress report for your students. Now, some people are going to disagree with me on this, and that's fine. That's what we call professional autonomy. So if you don't want to follow my example here, that is your choice. I just think it will make your life a little bit easier and still come up with proper assessment of your students. So first things first, here I've got my IT9 class, and you can see here under my details that it says my average mode is my gradebook default, and my grade scale is my gradebook default. I set those in my preferences in here, and that's what that's referring to. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'd be aware of that, because all my other classes are grades 10 to 12. So for this particular class, I don't want to go with my default. I want to actually change it. So my average mode, I'm going to change that to just categories. And I don't need category total points because I'm not giving points. I'm just basically doing it on the beginning, developing, proficient, extending rating. So I'm going to choose categories only. And my grade scale is this one right here, emerging, developing, proficient, and extending. And that's the new terminology that we're using this year. So then I'm going to hit save. So remember to always hit save. When you see it, hit save. Even if you don't think you need to, hit save. So now I'm going to create my, I don't have any classes to link, so I'm not going to worry about that. But my categories, I'm going to create a category. And the recommendation is we just call it EOL, for evidence of learning. And you make the weight 100%. Because we don't really need bins in this, because we're doing standards-based assessment. So that way you just put everything into the one bin. So hit your check mark. Okay, so there it is there. And then I still have to hit save again. So now I'm good to go. So now I'm going to create my first assignment. So I can just go to scores, and I can create my assignment here, or I can go to assignments and options and add an assignment. I'll do the same thing. I like doing it in the scores tab because then I'm actually in that particular area. So general. So this is for my IT9 class again. So my category is just going to be my evidence of learning. Come up with a column name. This will show up in your gradebook. So I'm going to say history, computers. Right? Date assigned. This is my second semester, so I'll just do it so that it's, maybe I can actually use it. I'm going to say the 4th, and that is going to be due on the 15th. Total points, just put a 1, right? Because again, we're not actually giving it a value, we're just recording on their actual standards. Portal description, that's where you can actually put information for your parents and your students to see online if you wish. I use Google Classroom, so I don't feel that's necessary. And then here you can add any files or links that you want to. And then the standards. This is where you're going to report on the standards that this assignment is actually addressing. So you're going to click multi-add. Please put a check mark here, that's all, because that actually gives you those 4 ratings that you actually want to address. And then go through and choose which standard you would like to do, right? So I'm going to choose that one. and making, I'm going to choose that one, that one. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. So those are the standards that I have chosen. I'm going to hit save. Otherwise, it's not going to be there when I go to my assignment. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my scores. So here is where some people are going to disagree with me. Here's my traditional gradebook. Here's my standards gradebook. So if your assignment isn't showing up, you want to make sure that under grade columns it says all. My suggestion is, I know which standards I've actually chosen for this particular assignment. So if I look at them again, if I click standards, and then I click on the actual assignment here. So if I click on it down here, here are the ones that I've actually chosen, right? So define, so if you hover over it, it'll tell you, so this is relevant context, materials that minimize waste, and appropriate tools, technologies, and materials. So some people are saying to actually put their rating here. And so if you hit Control L, then you can choose what you would like to actually show up. Okay, so I'm going to say that this student is developing here, and Control L, developing here, and developing, and this one I'm going to say he was proficient because it was all done online. So that's great, beautiful. Okay, and then I can keep filling through. To me, that is a lot of work. And the other problem is, if I go to actually create a progress report, it won't show up. So if I go up here to reports or options, it's not there. Okay? I have to go back to the actual scores. So here it says developing. So I'm in my standards gradebook, developing. So I hit reports, progress reports. I'll just do this one student. And I hit next. Go through my different settings that I would like. These are just demographic, other demographic things like First Nations and that sort of thing. All. So all my assignments, not just my missing ones, I want to show them all, show how they're actually doing. Go next. This is where you'll get a message that will appear on each progress report that you print off for the students. Next. And then you can choose these. We can't email these progress reports, so we have to print them off. So my suggestion is you put your check marks right here. And then hit next. And that's what it says. This shows up for if I choose just one student, but I can't select it. So I don't even know why it's there. And finish. So here's my progress report. But it doesn't say how he is doing. So that doesn't do me any good. So this is why I have some disagreement with this whole meeting, right? So if I go to the traditional tab here, and then I put in Control L, and I put he's developing, then I'll make a comment. Proficient in reducing waste, but developing in other standards covered. So I make that feedback, I hit save. And so now when I create the progress report, I'm just going to do him again. And I'm just going to hit finish because all my settings that I had before in those other windows will remain the same. Now I actually get some sort of a recording for the student. So unless I'm missing something, I don't see how under the standards tab I can actually get this to show up. Right? Even if if I go into the actual assignment where my different standards are, or if I go into my actual student and I see the tab here, I don't know how to print that. There isn't an option to print it anywhere. So plus that's going to be a lot of work, right? Especially if you have three standards that you're competencies that you're covering each and every assignment. It's way too much. Yes, it's great. It's nice for the parent to see, for the student to see, gives you a great idea as well. But you're going to know where these kids are. And in the end, you have to come up with one word, whether they are developing, whether they're proficient, extending. Okay, so you have to come up with that one word at the end anyways. So my suggestion is you just go into the traditional view, put in what your actual score is going to be. Sorry, let's go back here. And make any comments that you need right here. And then that will help you, I think, in the long run. Okay, I'm also out of time. This thing only lets me do 15 minutes. So I hope this helps you a little bit with your standards-based grading. And it's, you know what, be nice to yourself. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience on our part, students' part, and parental part. All right, have a great day, and thanks for joining me with this MyEd Help tutorial.